Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr, and this is episode 178, and it's a short story called The Night Visit. What was that noise? He got out of bed and grabbed his shotgun. He put on his slippers and pulled open the bedroom door. The shotgun swung loose and thunked against the door jamb. It wouldn't have happened 30 years ago, even 10 years ago. He almost cursed, but his old training came back and he stayed silent. He went past the dining room and continued to the kitchen. There was a door to the backyard there he had to check. The door was closed and locked. Everything's fine there. He spun around. Through the archway to the dining room, he saw a silhouette of a man seated at the head of his dinner table. He half-aimed the shotgun and pulled the trigger. Nothing but a clack. "I'm afraid I took care of that already," the man said. He froze, not sure whether to run for his bedroom or not. "Please, sit down," the man said. He held the pistol out to the side so he could see its outline. He did so. "Do I know you?" he asked the silhouetted man. "We've met," was all he said. "Why are you here?" "Can't you guess?" He just went silent. "Who might visit you in the middle of the night?" the shadow asked. "I'm sure I don't know. I live a quiet life." The man across from him barked out a single laugh. "I suppose that's true. Now, it hasn't always been so. A quiet life is fine for an old man like myself. It doesn't fit an active young man." "Well said. Who are you?" "We'll get to that." They both fell silent. He itched to grab his shotgun again, blast whoever the stranger was in the face. But he knew it wouldn't work. The strange clack told him something had been ruined with the mechanism. It wasn't just unloaded. A lifetime around guns had told him that. He could fix it later, when he had time, after he had taken care of the current situation. But nothing was telling him who the man across the table was. Unfortunately, the man knew who he was. He thought about this. No one would have come into his house at night, disabled his gun, then sat across from him like this without a very good reason. And he couldn't think of a friendly reason to do it. He wished he could get a good look at the man, but the room was quite dark, and there was a window behind the man which was leaking in light. This meant he could make out the outline of the man's head. From what he could tell, he had a short haircut and probably brown hair. Caucasian, then. Average height, judging from his height in the dining room chair, and strongly built, at least to judge by the size of the shoulders. "Do I get to see your face?" "I doubt it. I've cut the power." "How did you know I wouldn't discover that before bumping into you?" "Because I did a test run last month. You check noises without turning on any lights. I'm guessing you have good night vision. I'd say that if I hadn't drawn your attention, you would have noticed that none of the appliances in the kitchen had their clocks glowing pretty quickly." "I have other guns," he thought. "I could get to one of them. Then we'd see who had the upper hand." His eyes continued to adjust to the dark, and he could tell the man across from him had his pistol in his hand, resting on the table. It seemed to be a semi-automatic, and seemed to have a suppressor, to judge by the unusual barrel length. Suppressors don't really silence pistols, but it would reduce the noise enough that he doubted it would carry outside his house. "So who are you really?" he asked, trying to buy time to think. "I find it ironic you're trying to find that out," the man across from him said. "You never tried before." "What?" he said, shocked back into full attention. "Are you saying I should know you?" "You should, but I don't think you do." "But I know you." "Do you?" "I know your wife walked out on you 12 years ago. I know you haven't dated seriously since. I know you spend at least $300 a month on ammunition. I know you've gone to the same evangelical church for 5 years. But I don't think you believe in their religion." "What makes you think that?" "Because you're using being religious as a fig leaf for what you really are." "And what is that?" "John Truman Hughes." He started. "You know my old name?" "Can't forget it." "So you're from my past." "No. You're from mine." "What do you mean?" I never knew you, but you picked me out special. I'm the one who went to prison for the death of one John Truman Hughes." John leapt up, the world swimming in the dark, but the man raised the pistol. "Sit down, Mr. Hughes." He did so. "I wonder if you even remember my name." "Stan Frankridge." "Well, score one for you. You did a hell of a job on me, John. Or do you prefer Stephen, your current name? Hell with it. I choose John, because John is the one who ripped my life away." "How did you find me?" "At first I had to know you were alive. I spent all the money I had buying defense lawyers and private detectives. One of them was on your trail when I was convicted. He gave some information to the court indicating you might not be dead, that it wasn't you in that fire, but they didn't believe it. I was sent away for 25 to life. Fortunately, my investigator took that personally. I couldn't pay him anymore, but you became a hobby of his. Over the years, he figured out where you were and what you were named. Unfortunately, though he tried, he still didn't have the right evidence to get me set free. So he just gave me the information instead. After that, you became my hobby. You've kept your head down, that's true. But there's so many databases out there now, and no one's really hiding anymore. And now, John, I'm here to collect. I did my time. Now it's time to do the crime. You ate a meal and had a sound sleep, thanks in part to the soporific I added to your food while you were away. While you were out, I made sure your weapons were all quite safe for me. Woke you up with a loud noise, and now we've had this pleasant conversation. I'm sure you've thought of 3 ways to escape or kill me. They won't work." He tried to say, "Why not?" but choked. "They won't work because you're already dead. I've put a poison in you while you were out that has nearly done its work. Even if you figure out a way to kill me, I don't care. All I've wanted for years now was this. Now I have it. Maybe I'll make a new life for myself. Maybe you'll find a gun I missed and kill me with it. Maybe I'll be caught and sent back to prison. Doesn't matter. All that matters is me and you dying." The man was hard to see. He blinked, but it didn't help. The world moved, and he realized his head was now down on the table. Some object, vaguely cylindrical and plastic, was being put in his unresisting hand. Now even the window was going dark, and all he could hear was some vague movements of the man who had been across from him. He smelled gasoline. The small part of him that could still think hoped that it would end before the fire started. Then there was nothing at all. And that's the story this week. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions about this episode or previous episodes, CryptoBiography@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. And thanks for listening. Words and music copyright 2020, CryptoBiography LLC, all rights reserved. Characters and events are fictional, fictionalized, or satirical.